autism parent and you had to feed your child one specific food item for an entire week because the texture satisfied their sensories, however, the following week they absolutely refused to eat it because of the color, hit that subscribe button. We are just here today to talk to you about Anna's first day of school. Today was actually day 3 of school, but we're going to rewind a little bit and talk about the first day of school. What are some things you wanted to share?
And I wanted to come on here and introduce myself and just talk a little bit about being an autism mom and how I felt when we got Anna's diagnosis, how I feel now, and just kind of share my thoughts on that.
Okay. So the first day of school, the biggest thing we were worried about, I'm sure, which is common with most parents, whether their child is autistic or not, is dropping them off at school. Anna has gone to daycare in the past, and some days were good, some days were bad. Typically with Mother is when they were the rough days because she loves her mommy so much and doesn't want to leave her side. So, whenever the pandemic with the corona thing kicked off back in March, around that time we got the diagnosis and also had taken her out of daycare. So there's been a good 6-7 months she hasn't been in daycare, and she's only been around mommy and daddy for that whole time. So it's basically like a reset, going all over again for the first day like she'd never been to daycare. It had been so long. So that was a big stress, something that was weighing heavy on our hearts, I think. And of course she did do some crying. However, it was not a complete meltdown. And I was actually, as satisfied as could be with as far as the drop off and her being upset. What did you think?
Yeah, like he mentioned, drop-offs at daycare were really hard for me. For 2 years, Anna cried. And looking back, that probably could have been a sign for us that, something was not normal or something was off for her. But we kept pushing through because we felt like, well, the socializing of daycare would be really helpful. However, I kind of developed a really big anxiety with drop-offs because I would feel extremely guilty. She would cry so hard. She would almost just start panicking when we would start walking up to the class, and I would leave just feeling so defeated and so sad because, I'm basically leaving my crying kid and just walking away from her. So I was anticipating that same reaction, especially because prior to dropping her off, we were instructed on how that would go, and we were not allowed to go into the school. So that was a little, I was really nervous about that because, we were basically just going to hand her off to the teacher in the front of the school. And so I was worried that she would resist or have a meltdown. Yeah. And she didn't. She cried, and we could hear her crying as she was entering the building. But like Austin said, it wasn't like it had been in the past. It was a cry, but it was just different, which made it a little easier for me to leave and not feel so torn up about, walking away from her when she's hysterical. So
Yeah. One thing I was definitely happy with also is whenever we returned to pick her up from school for her first day, and I'll add that video in here. It's just going to be a short little clip, but she actually walked up to me and embraced me, hugged me around the neck so tight. And those kind of moments are really rare, so they're very special to us. Whenever they do happen, they're a big deal and they mean a lot to us. Because even if I'm gone to work for several hours, or if I go to training and I'm gone a day or two and then I come back, sometimes she still doesn't embrace me or hug me that way. She gets excited when I come in the door, and she'll run around me and run in circles and smile and be happy, but she doesn't always hug me the way that she did after I picked her up from her first day of school. So that was definitely very heartwarming, and I was glad to be able to experience that moment. So, but also, yesterday, whenever we dropped her off, she did a little bit of crying, even less than the first day, so that was a good sign. And it wasn't bad at all. And same thing for picking up. She was definitely excited to come home, and she ran and embraced her mommy and gave her a hug and shared some love with her. And then today was bittersweet because she was actually, it was almost like she was not necessarily excited, but definitely more than okay to go to school today. She was sitting in mommy's lap in the car while we were waiting in the car line for her teacher to come out and get her. And when she did, she basically just hopped out of the car, waved goodbye to mommy, and tried to shut the door.
Shut our door.
So
she's never done that before, so it was definitely like surreal to see her wave to me. By that, you know, we never would have thought that day would come.
No.
So,
and it obviously, makes us feel better as parents knowing that she's happy going to school. It's not a torturous place. She's not miserable there or anything like that. So that's just, the icing on top of the cake that helps us know that, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're going in the right direction. And it's just a matter of time for everything works itself out.
Yeah.
And, we'll also, I'll post a picture or a short clip in here of her and her backpack as well. The original backpack that mommy bought her would be ideal for Anna because she's very tiny. She's barely 25 pounds now at almost 4 years old. But she bought her like a smaller one. And whenever we first went to one of our meetings with the teacher and some of the staff, they informed us to get her a regular sized backpack because of papers and forms and other things that they may need to send home. So mommy had to go out and buy her a different backpack, which she got her a Hello Kitty one, and it is, from halfway up her head to the bottom of her knees. It is a huge bag on her. It's definitely, it probably weighs half as much as she does.
Yeah.
So it's definitely precious.
Bye.